Pour the brothers bond.
Being around you drives me nuts.
Is the pug snoring?
And not being around you drives me nuts.
Grab your wine glass and sit with your sweetie. Time to listen to Ash and the titular PD. Drunk
Like I got a traveler in me.
need to feed on blood like I'm addicted to type B. It's not a typo, I'm type A on the flow. Ties a hype beast, put a chain on the dough. Roll up the vervain, roll Spain in the cup. Turn my humanity off, not giving up.
Heck,
Other side sucking people up like twisters.
Bonnie's the anchor.
Jeremy's gonna miss her. The bro swap places, Rick's back in the mix.
What's gonna happen on Vampire Diaries season 6?
How is the summer almost over? And yet, I feel like I got nothing done.
Hello, welcome to the Vampire Diaries, the Vampire Diaries podcast where guys watching the series for the first time with a super fan who has seen every episode. I'm the titular PD. Let's just say I put the PD in Vampire, but please call me Pete, and I'm here with my co-host and co-parent, Ash. Hello, Ash.
Hello, Pete.
Ash,
Yes?
the devil brought his contract, and we signed it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, ads.
Oh, okay. I forgot.
We talked about doing the ads, and it retroactively put ads on all our episodes. So I think it's funny that like someone will have heard if they're not up to date with us this second, they'll have heard ads for 137 episodes or whatever.
And then randomly us being like, we're going to get some ads.
Yeah, or like 136, like last episode we're like talking about ads and they're like, what? They've been having ads this whole time.
Right. We tried to listen to it a while back, but they weren't up yet. Have you heard any?
They're up now. No, I didn't listen to any through. I don't like listening to ads.
We don't know what they are.
The irony. Actually, AAA. I heard one for like AAA or something.
Oh, okay. And are they do you know if they're only at the beginning or are they throughout?
They're supposed to be one at the beginning and one at the end.
Oh.
So just listen to the ads, guys.
Yeah.
Just listen to the ads. I have buddies who do YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you gotta just watch the ads
You gotta
sometimes.
It's just
Yeah.
a couple seconds. Not going to take away too much of your life.
Just watch the ads or listen to the ads. And if they're evil, just tell us.
Yeah, we do want to know that. Or if you like got a good ad and you're like, that really helped me, that'd be cool too.
Yeah, I did click on like the medium evilness setting or something.
Not the lowest.
Yeah, I went medieval.
Medieval. Okay.
Yeah, I went medieval on their heinies.
That's funny.
Ash, speaking of going medieval on their heinies, we watched a couple vampire properties.
We did. We talked about how we started Twilight, but we finally finished it.
We finally finished it.
Only the first movie.
It took us 3 or 4 tries to watch the first one. I liked the beginning more than any other part of it.
Yeah, me too.
And I think I'll like the later ones maybe more. I don't know. When they start playing baseball and flying around and stuff, I just kind of get, I don't know, bored-ish. We watched
just running through the woods for hours.
Yeah, we watched a Minecraft movie. That's what it's called. And I really actually enjoyed the first kind of half hour-ish of it. And then they just start kind of flying around and fighting pigs and stuff.
Yeah. Even in, like, the Marvel movies and stuff, I always like the beginning better, too. Like, when they have the big fight sequences, it's just, like, a lot of this, like, the same stuff.
Yeah, I like the story and character.
Yeah, we both like the story better.
And then, like, Ant-Man 1 is more watchable than, like, Ant-Man 2 or 3 or whatever, because Ant-Man 1 takes place in, like, a house, and real-life things are happening, sort of. I mean, with an Ant-Man, but...
Right.
And then, like, stuff is getting bigger and smaller. But then, by, like, the third one, they're just on some other planet or something.
Yeah. You have always said that you don't like when there's, like, no rules.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, like, fantasy is hard for you, I think.
Right. Which...
It needs to be grounded in some sort of, like, reality.
Right. Which Vampire Diaries does okay with that. Mm-hmm. Something that I thought did really good with that is the other vampire thing that we watched, which was Sinners.
Sinners was... fantastic.
Which was really good, a great vampire thing.
I love that it was set in the past also. Mm-hmm. Like, that was interesting in the South, and, like, I would have watched it as not even a vampire movie. Like,
for sure, yeah.
Like, if it was just following these people in their town and their relationships, that was interesting enough to me all on its own. Yeah,
if it was just twin bros opening up a music spot.
Yeah.
That was good enough.
That was good enough for me. But then the vampire part was cool, too.
Yeah, it was a little bit like...
It had me tense.
It was a little bit like From Dusk Till Dawn, which pretty much half of the movie is a kidnapping thriller deal, and then they arrive at a vampire place for like the last hour or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, movies should be good with or without vampires, I guess.
Yeah, but you should watch Sinners. It was really a really good film.
Yeah, so we got some vampire stuff.
We had vamp news.
We
Other
did.
news you have, Pete?
Oh,
Oops.
as if on cue. My show that I was a producer on came out today. If you're listening to this tomorrow, it was yesterday. And if you're listening in the future, it's out now. And if you're listening in the past, what are you doing?
We're scared.
Yeah. But I worked on a show called The Ultimatum, Queer Love. And it's out now.
On Netflix?
On Netflix. It's season 2.
Mm-hmm.
People really enjoyed season 1. I did not work on that. However, to make things even more confusing, I worked on The Ultimatum, the straight version, we call it, Marry or Move On. I worked on season 3 of that.
I know. Whenever I try to think about which seasons, even though you just said it 1 second ago, I couldn't even tell you. It's so confusing. Also, when you worked on Drag Race, but it was like Untucked season this,
Yes.
and regular this one. I'm like, or All Stars this one. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know which season it was, but I know you worked on it. And congrats on this show.
Well,
we're going to watch it after we finish recording this podcast.
Yeah, that's what we're really wanting to do.
Yeah.
No, we want to record this podcast. I wanted to say about the Drag Race. I simultaneously worked on Drag Race, All Stars, like Untucked, but it was season 8 of the Untucked, but it was season 9 of the show. But then I also worked on the regular show's Untucked of season 12.
Yeah, see?
Like all at the same time.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But isn't it interesting to think about, like, when we were young and in love, younger than now, and we were just living together and we got our Netflix discs delivered to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so exciting for us when we would get 3 discs.
Yeah.
That you would work on not one but more than one Netflix television show as a producer. That's crazy, right?
That is crazy. I've worked on The Circle season 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked on The Ultimatum season 3, and then another one, and then The Ultimatum Queer Love season 2. My joke that I've said before is that if you had told me back in those days when we were just getting the discs from Netflix that someday I'd be working on a top 10 streaming reality show, I'd say, what is that?
Yeah, what is that? What is streaming reality? Yeah. I don't get it.
Because those were the early days. It first was Watch Instantly, Netflix Watch Instantly, and there was just a handful of kind of weirdo stuff on there.
Yeah,
And now it's one of the big things that people watch.
it sure is. So watch The Ultimatum.
For better or for worse, but
Yeah.
when it comes to Ultimatum season 2 of Queer Love, it's for better.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk about the music in it or no?
Sure.
Wasn't there a song choice that you
Yeah.
had a hand in?
Minor spoilers for a song in the first episode of Queer Love. During the speed dating portion, I won't spoil what the song is, but I helped usher that song on there.
Okay, yeah.
I'll let people listen,
Find it out.
but I helped pick the song for that.
I'm excited. And you picked it like a year ago or
Yeah.
whatever.
Mm-hmm. It takes a while to produce these shows sometimes, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It was kind of a hot song of last summer, but
It's still a fantastic song, but yeah, it was more popular
yeah.
about a year ago, yeah.
Yep. So hopefully the person who wrote that song is getting some coins.
Oh, yeah.
Some coins.
Mm-hmm. Cha-ching.
Ash, speaking of coins,
What?
those ads. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, they'll translate to literal pennies in our pockets.
That's okay.
Tonight we're talking about season 6, episode 18. I could never love like that. There's no you in there. I could never love you like that. It's just I could never love like that, period.
Right.
Ash, we're going to do our signature segment, Cold Open. I wish it was a little colder in here. It's hot.
It's been a very hot week.
All right, some guy is closing up the Skull Bar.
The Skull Bar?
Skull Bar.
Skull? Skull?
And it seems that there's a haunting afoot.
Yeah, we also have pug snores.
The pug is snoring. Chairs are moving around behind his back. Liquor is spilling.
It's fun to see that, like, vampires can seem ghost-like and they're whooshing around.
True.
Right? Because if you're this human in this bar, you wouldn't be like, what's doing that? A vampire?
A vampire,
no,
yeah.
you would think it's a ghost.
Yeah, that is funny.
Mm-hmm.
People should say that. Like, is this house haunted or is there a vampire messing with me?
Exactly.
And then, but he thinks the person messing with him is Chris.
Yeah, come on, Chris.
Neither ghost nor vamp.
No, or living.
Yeah, Chris's body falls from up high, and Stefan says boo like he's a ghost, but he's actually booing Caroline.
Uh-huh.
Because they're trying to scare this unnamed man.
Yeah.
They taste Chris.
Mm-hmm. He tastes delicious.
Stefan bet Caroline that she would scare this guy to death.
Mm-hmm. But she didn't, and so he's like, you failed.
And I said he's not scared, he's more just sad, because he's kind of like, my friend.
Yeah.
And then Caroline compels him to feel like he's having a heart attack, and Stefan's like, that's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
It's mental, it's not like you scared him. And then she does more stuff, throat tightening, spiders, and then I guess he dies, and Caroline says she won.
Mm-hmm.
And,
By the way, there's so much in this episode. I'm going to try not to, like,
oh my
interrupt too many times.
gosh, there is so much. There's so much jibber jabber.
Uh-huh.
They're laying a lot of pipe, as we say.
For sure.
Okay.
Some people say that.
Yeah. Okay, and Stefan says, not fair. He died of a loophole.
Mm-hmm.
And since Caroline won, they're going to do karaoke, which we don't, spoiler alert, see Stefan singing.
No.
But that would have been the real treat.
Right, because he's, like, rolling his eyes like, ugh, karaoke. But if he shouldn't, like, care that much if he just has to listen to her.
Right.
It should have been him singing.
Yeah, what do you think his song is?
Oh, gosh, that's a good question.
We did some karaoke over the weekend, actually.
Yeah, we did. I have no idea.
I did some Decemberists.
Mm-hmm.
I did a little, did I do The Cure? No. I
Yeah,
did a little Morrissey?
It was The Cure.
Oh, man.
I did a little
Oh,
Wicked.
yeah.
I did a little Halsey.
Oh, man.
A little T-Swift.
I think we did the Taylor Swift duet.
Yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Stefan would do, though.
Yeah.
Some Great Balls of Fire or something like
I mean, maybe Biebs. He looks kind of like Biebs.
That would be good.
Sarah Salvatore is at the Bros Mansion with Enzo. They drove there from the hospital. Stefan is her great uncle, and so Enzo's kind of like dropping her off with these bros.
Yeah.
And it's time for you to meet your real family. But who answers the door? Lily.
Mm-hmm. And then Enzo freaks out.
Her even greater.
Aunt?
Grandma? No, grandma, maybe, because if Stefan's the uncle.
Right.
It's her great grandma in some type of way, or great aunt, I guess.
I think it's probably great aunt because grandma would have to be that she was a daughter of Stefan or Damon, or one of Stefan or Damon's siblings.
True. All right. Well, we're not genealogists over here.
No.
And we only sometimes claim to be. I knew you would like that, even though it's so stupid.
You looked at my reaction so quick.
I know, because I did a little facial thing too, and I knew she was gonna like that. Audience, I
Because
knew.
it surprised me.
I knew she was gonna like that.
I knew you were going to be the one thing, but I wasn't expecting the second part.
I don't even remember what I said now.
We're not genealogists.
Oh, yeah.
And we only sometimes claim to be.
That is funny. All right. She's gonna be their problem now. Oh yeah, Lily answered the door.
And Enzo's freaking out, like, never mind, wrong door. And he moves.
He knew her in 1903. She turned him into a vampire.
I know. How crazy that this whole time that he was friends with Damon and they were trapped together and stuff, they never came to that conclusion.
I knew your muff, bruv. He could have said.
He could have said that.
All right, Damon and Elena are nude and hugging. Uh-oh. Can we do ads on this?
Yeah.
Talk about nude hugging?
But also, she's wearing a towel.
Okay.
But in the way they shot it, it looks like she's not.
Yeah, okay. Are you nude if you're wearing a towel? I guess not.
Well, I guess she's nude and wearing a towel.
But nonetheless, they kind of keep it on the DL because mom is cooking somewhere in the house.
Making breakfast. Brekkie.
I hate that. She is your mother, not a tool to get Stefan's humanity back, Elena says. But Damon just sees her as a means to an end. Mm-hmm. Stefan and Caroline are ripping right now, so they need to hurry to get them out of circulation.
Yeah, they need to get them their humanity back on.
Okay, this was weird. Elena was looking for her T-shirt, and then Damon was like, take mine, and then he's looking in the drawer, but then he's like, oh, get out of my drawer, because the Cure is in there.
Yeah, he doesn't want her to see the Cure, so he whooshes, throws her his shirt.
And it wasn't me covering shoplifters of the world unite and take over. It wasn't that the Cure.
Right.
It was the cure to vampirism.
You want to sing it for us?
Well, no, but some say that when I sing, that is the cure for a couple things. When I sing that song. When I sing the Cure, people get cured in some ways.
There you go.
And they also are freed of their towels.
That's so weird.
Okay, Damon. There's so much, but yet I'm doing a lot over here. Okay. Damon is eating the breakfast oh yeah, this is another thing I don't like. The breakfast his mom made, eggy and basky. Yeah,
I know. That's probably what he used to say when he was a little kid.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, we don't like it.
And then like, does Elena miss being human sometimes? Hint, hint for the Cure. Mm-hmm. Lily.
There's a lot of subtle Cure conversations happening.
Yeah. Lily knows all about it. She wants to free her companions, which there's a reveal about that later. They need the Ascendant. They need a celestial event. And this mom has been on the net learning about a full moon and a meteor shower. Oh, I think we talked about meteor and meteor in the past.
Meteor.
I say meteor.
A meteor shower?
Yeah, I just say it like that. Damon says there are videos of cats on there too.
Riding robot vacuums.
On the net. Mm-hmm. Oh, riding robot vacuums? Oh, okay.
That's what he said.
Yeah. Joe called because someone has been attacking people on Whitmore campus. And we go to like the emergency room later and there's all these hurt people. Mm-hmm. And I know hurt people, but like I thought these rippers were into ripping, not into hurting.
Well, we know Caroline is not a ripper. But they are being reckless now because, remember Caroline was trying to be careful, and then Stefan convinced her to run wild and free, and so she is. But
but she's still pressed.
She's not always killing all the way.
Yeah, we know that she still has her, like, sort of type A tendencies.
Yeah, but she's loosened up as far as turning off her humanity goes.
Hey, she's type A looking for type A. Am I right?
Yep.
Blood. That's a blood joke.
But yeah, it does seem like there would be more deaths than just injured people. I agree with that.
And Damon's like, let me guess. One of these people attacking people is blonde, and the other turns people into Pez dispensers. That's gross.
Yeah, not a good look.
Sarah Salvatore asks who Lily was. Who is my family? And Enzo explains.
Oh, this is when Enzo is trying to explain, but it's confusing.
It's confusing, and I don't care to get into it, except for I like that he says the good brother recently went bad, and the bad brother is better than the good brother. So he was going to leave Sarah with Damon, basically.
Right. Which, I mean, that is accurate.
Yeah. I mean, Damon's the least of the two evils at this moment.
Right.
But, okay, he says, Lily's the most dreadful person I ever met. Flashback.
Yeah, we get Enzo flashbacks this episode.
Southampton, England, 1903. Enzo is sick. I said, this guy who looks like Spencer Pratt won't let him on the on the ship.
He does look like him.
Even though there's a doctor on board that Enzo wants to get to, Lily kills Spencer Pratt, R.I.P., and reaches her hand to Enzo. She's going to put him on the ship. And we know she kills everyone on that ship.
Right. We also know that she's a vampire, but he doesn't know it yet. I also, like, when I first was watching this, I thought that it was going to be that Enzo was the person that killed everyone on the ship because he got turned into a vampire, and then he started going nuts because he was hungry.
Yeah.
Because it makes it seem that way a little bit, but I mean, we know that Lily's a ripper, so. But I feel like they almost try to fool you a little bit because you see like how reserved and composed Lily seems that you're like, oh, she wouldn't kill every person on this ship.
I don't like Enzo's haircut in the flashback.
Me neither.
He needs to be between that and the Sonic the Hedgehog. He
Right.
needs to be
Sonic is a little too wild.
kind of the little mullety thing is his best look. All right, back to the present. Enzo tries to compel Sarah to forget about her family, but it doesn't work. She's on vervain. Matt gave her some. She's like, oh, yeah, Matt. Matt gave her some.
Yeah, we haven't seen Matt in a bit, but we see him later. But yeah, he's always trying to help the humans.
And Sarah stabs Enzo in the neck. With what, vervain or something?
Yeah.
Caroline is doing karaoke to the unimpressed students at the school bar.
Yeah, they're annoyed.
She's doing Hit Me With Your Best Shot. A girl says, hey, Taylor Swift, I'm trying to study here. Taylor Swift ref.
We love T Swift.
She wasn't quite the name back then that she was now.
She's just getting bigger and bigger.
She has risen to fame since then in our reality.
For sure.
Matt and Ty show up all of a sudden and are talking about being cops.
I know. You were like, what are they doing?
And they're
They
going...
have their little cop T-shirts on.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they take like 3 scenes to explain something. This time they took 0 scenes, and we're just like, oh yeah, I remember them saying they were gonna maybe do this.
They had like one line about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now they're totally doing it and have the shirts and everything.
Right.
They are police officers in training, MFPD Red, Rookie Edition. And blood is dripping into a mug. I think Stefan cut this girl.
Yeah, Stefan cut this girl. Is drinking her blood.
Stefan whooshes and tells Matt and Ty to stay because Caroline is taking requests.
Yeah.
Damon and Lily are driving. They text Elena and tell... Oh, okay, this is funny. Okay, Damon and Lily are driving, and Damon, like, hands Lily the phone and is like, text Elena.
Oh, yeah.
Think of texting as a tiny typewriter. And so Lily's about to text, and she says... My dearest Elena, I hope this finds you well. Which is funny, and it's kind of true because remember when at least my parents first started texting, they'd like sign off like Dad at the end and stuff.
Right. Texting has definitely had many different like versions. Well, you know, when it wasn't a full keyboard and you had to just use the letters, I feel like people typed as little as possible because it was hard to do.
Yeah.
And then once we had full keyboards, some people started to like actually write full words, and then some people kept doing the shortcut language because we'd be like, use the number 2 for 2 and use the number 4 for 4.
See you later.
Yeah. And then some people kept it up and most people didn't, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I
And
mean,
now there's also voice messaging, like you can just leave a voice note and stuff.
I tell our kids, like, back in the day, we had to pay, like, 10 cents per text message.
That's true, too.
But actually, my parents were so cheap, I had to pay by the letter. So I was like, you know.
Not texting?
Yeah. I was texting very short messages.
Right. But yeah,
I'm just kidding, that wasn't true.
That's not true. But it is funny.
We did have to pay 10 cents, though, per message.
Yeah.
You go back and forth a couple times?
Which is also why we didn't text that much. We had lots of phone calls still.
Yeah.
When we had cell phones, like early cell phones.
Yeah.
There was no FaceTime.
I'd be using my whenever minutes instead of my texting 10 cents.
Yeah, for sure. That's how we had to do it. But I like it. I love talking to you on the phone. I still do.
I know. There's a story. I don't know if we told it on this at all, but
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
when Ash and I were living far apart, T-Mobile My Fave 5 or something.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, if you Google that, it's probably so old, but she wasn't one of my Fave 5 because it, like, just was invented.
Yeah.
And I was calling her long distance. I had to pay a bunch of money, and I was like, put her in my Fave 5 once I learned that was a thing.
I know. Also, why wasn't I in your My Faves in the first place?
'Cause it just,
I was
like-
your girlfriend.
I know. I think it, like, happened without me choosing. I think it just, like, put 5 people there.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, and it was like in a little circle. I remember when I looked
Yeah.
at my phone, it was like a circle of pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to pay a lot. Well, you did. You had to pay a lot of money. I felt bad.
Yep. But I was rich back then. Just kidding.
Yeah. College student rich.
So the texting part was funny.
It was funny. But it is so true that, like, you know, the act of writing used to be so formal and so, like...
I know.
And then you would send a letter, and it would take a long time to get to someone, and then you'd be like, I don't know if they received this, and I
Right.
hope I get one back. And, you know, it was such, like, a treasured form of communication.
And you don't know if their, like, salty dad is going to collect all your letters
And
that you're
never do.
sending and
Like-
tie them up with twine.
Like
and you'll-
the notebook style. That was the salty mom, though.
and you'll never see them. But then someday you'll see them, and it's like 50 letters in
Yeah.
twine.
I wrote you every day for a year.
Yeah, 365 twine letters.
Oof.
That's how it used to be.
Yes.
Okay, they're going to take care of Caroline, and Lily will turn Stefan. So they're trying to get these fools' humanities back on. And then Lily's all about rescuing her friends.
Right, which now that you know, like, more about who her friends are, isn't that kind of crazy?
That's why she's so pressed. I thought she was just like, oh, I love my friends.
Yeah,
Man,
but
my
she-
friends are my family.
She calls them her family the whole time.
Yeah, in
And-
front of her kids.
And I hate that later on she's like, and my old family and my new family to Damon's face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? You can't say that. He's still your family.
Yeah, it reminds me of that meme. There's a meme that's like 4 squares, and it's Natalie Portman, and then Hayden Christensen, and then Natalie Portman, and then Hayden Christensen. And so it would be like Natalie from whatever Star Wars it was, and it's Natalie Portman would be like, we're gonna rescue my friends, right? And then Hayden Christensen would be like, yeah. And then Natalie Portman would be like, but we're gonna rescue my friends, right? I'm probably doing it wrong. I don't know.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
If you know what I'm talking about, you're thinking that's funny.
Good for you.
Or you're saying that's wrong.
You're so wrong.
Yeah. Either way, that was entertainment for you.
Thank you.
Because entertainment now is just being mad. Right?
It is for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Not for me.
Not for me either. A lot of people go on their phone to be mad.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you're listening to this, I hope you're not mad.
No, it should be fun.
But tell me how to do that meme correctly.
We're not going to look it up.
No. Leave a comment. This is how you do it with instructions.
Thank you.
All right. Damon is being short with his mom. We've all been there. And but his mom is kind of prodding him. You're afraid you'll ruin your love with Elena if she has the cure. I thought maybe she wanted the cure at this point.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
was like, why is she so pressed about this cure?
I don't think that Damon's mom has the place to be able to give this motherly advice.
No.
Like, but Damon doesn't get mad at her because he does need her help.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, he is upset with her, but he doesn't like let it show to her really. But if this was not this supernatural situation and it was just a mother-son real human scenario, he would be like, you haven't been in my life.
Yeah.
I'm in your old family. You never saw me. Like, I don't want your advice. So it's a little bit weird because he has to kind of like put up with it because he needs her.
Right.
For Stefan. But it's annoying.
She overheard Bonnie talking about the cure. Damon says don't tell anybody. Damon doesn't know if she wants the cure, but he fears she might. Is that true, or did I say that? If he gives it... Oh, to Elena. If he gives it to her, he'll lose her, allegedly. And
well, right now they can be together forever, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So...
At the hospital, Elena is healing an attacked guy with her blood. Elena tells Joe... some exposition. She didn't know. Joe didn't know Kai was trapped in the 1903 prison world because she's been working, but he's gone for good, and Joe likes that. And then Elena realizes Joe is pregnant because she switched to decaf. And
she was holding her stomach while she was talking to her. And she was like, "That's so good. That's so good."
The baby doesn't need an uncle psychopath. And Elena is happy for a lark. And Joe/jealous.
Yes, she's jealous.
Also, look, a lot of babies have psychopath uncles. Like, it doesn't have to be, he doesn't have to be a siphon witch.
Right.
You know? Like, there are a lot of non-siphon witch uncles that are terrible.
That's true.
But, sometimes you just gotta deal, Joe. If you're bringing a baby into this world, they might have a psycho uncle. You never hear great things about uncles. You know? And look, I'm an uncle too.
Yeah, you're a great uncle. We also have our friend, the dude dad has a good shirt, Funkle.
Funkle, yep. Did you ever used to go to Funkle Land?
No.
I'm only talking about technologies from 20 plus years ago. Have you ever edited film on a Steinbeck?
No.
Me neither.
Yes, you did.
No, not on a
I'm just kidding.
I was so offended. I didn't want to take that stolen valor.
Yeah.
Because that was a whole process. Sarah tied up Enzo. They're in her photo studio.
Yeah, it's not really established, but it's her place. She's got her pictures hanging all over the walls.
Yeah, Sarah Salvatore or Robin Williams from 1 Hour Photo.
I think Sarah.
Which one is she?
Sarah Salvatore.
I was confused, Ash. I'm legitimately asking. She saw her text with Matt. And
she read it. Yeah, she looked through his phone while he was passed out.
Oh, okay, Enzo's text hitting Matt with the car.
Yeah, she got to give the exposition this time to Enzo. Mm-hmm. Because she's like, I read your text and I knew this was your whole plan. So basically, the audience can be reminded of what was happening. For
sure. Flashback. They're on the boat. They're on a boat.
Yeah.
Look at them. They're on a boat. Enzo is sick. There's a doctor. He has some lung thing the doctor describes.
His consumption.
I think it's I think he vaped. I think he has popcorn lung.
Ew.
Ew.
Also, don't ever say that again in my life.
Okay, now I'm talking about modern technology.
That's disgusting.
He was vaping.
No, he has consumption.
He's there with Lily. She compels the doctor. The doctor is a scam artist.
Right. I like that Lily compels him to be like, is he really going to live? What are you going to give him?
Yeah. No, some cod liver oil or something. Enzo is going to die soon. She tells the doctor to leave. She had consumption, by the way.
Yep.
She didn't survive. She's dead.
Yeah, he's like, how'd you survive? I didn't.
And is she an angel? No.
She's the Ripper.
More on that later. Caroline is still singing, and they want to leave. And then Caroline is like, let's play Caroline trivia. You both dated me. Awkward. Mm-hmm. Awkward for these guys.
Also, they do good at the trivia. They only get one question each.
She quizzes them. But they don't know what was my mom's final memory before she died. Stefan comes in. He knows. Mm-hmm. It was that nice moment.
Yeah. With
the,
young Elizabeth Forbes.
Yeah, with the tricycle. I mean, the bicycle with training wheels.
Yeah.
Stefan killed the philosophy TA.
Yeah, he just comes out like wiping his mouth off.
Mm-hmm.
Drag race style.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I said, Matt does Joey Tribbiani's smell the fart acting. We were talking about how he acts. You said he acts really disgusted.
He's just disgusted all the time at what anyone is doing. Like, he used to be, like, more caring about the vampires that are his friends, and now everything that they say or do, he's just like, oh. Like,
yeah.
It looks like he's just going, oh.
I mean,
the whole time.
By the end of this episode, he's really...
He's a Republican.
I was going to say that, but he's...
That's how it seems.
If there are two wings of a vampire, Ash,
Yeah.
he's becoming closer to one wing of the vampire. There's this wing and there's that wing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He was influenced by Trip.
Yeah, he's losing his patience with a certain race, I would say.
Right, exactly.
Stefan, yeah, ride a bike. Okay. So both these guys are going to get killed, I guess. And I was like, yep, they're probably going to die this episode. Just kidding.
Who? Matt and Tyler?
Yeah.
Oh,
they'll
wow.
probably just kill them both now. Probably Caroline
Carolyn's just going to kill Matt and
will
Tyler.
kill these main characters.
You didn't really think that.
No, I did not. Joe talks about all of Stefan and Caroline's victims who are in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Elena has been a Ripper too, so she gets it.
Yeah, but she wasn't a Ripper.
She was just a humanity off.
She had her humanity off.
But she would just kill people.
Yeah, and that was the last thing she wanted to do.
But specifically, a Ripper just kills 1 million people?
No, Ripper literally rips their heads off.
Oh. I thought they just killed a bunch of people.
No, a Ripper you feed until you rip their head off.
Oh, man.
That's why they're a pet dispenser.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I know he likes to rip their throats out. Okay. Rip Torn. Trip fell. What if Rip Torn played Trip fell?
Rip Torn is a real person?
Yeah.
Oh, I just ripped my fingernail.
Oh, man.
That's sad.
There will always be part of Elena capable of doing what they're doing.
Right, so Elena's trying to have, like, empathy for them.
Yeah.
But Joe's like, still not cool.
She also is, speaking of people being jealous, she's jealous
Yeah.
of Joe.
She is jealous of Joe. She's jealous.
She is. And Enzo was jealous of Alaric.
And, no, Stefan.
Stefan was? No, because remember, Enzo was like,
Oh,
death, life, baby, you got it all.
Yeah, that's true. Also, Enzo was jealous of Stefan, which is why he was planning to, like, make him suffer through Sarah Salvatore this whole time.
Enzo did get a bum rap, as they say, because he had to live in 1903. First of all, gross. But then he's a vampire from 1903 until whenever he was in that cage for a long time. Then he gets out the cage, and he hasn't done a lot of great stuff since then.
No, yeah.
That's kind of stinks.
And, like, his one love of his life was killed. Yeah, he's had a bad go of it.
Right. He should just chill and try and have a good couple of years.
Well, don't you feel like he's, trying to be a little bit better now? Like,
I mean, maybe write this episode.
in this situation with Sarah.
All right. Elena can't be like a small town doctor because she won't age. So like they say little Bobby will be 5 and then 15 or something like that.
Yeah, Joe's like, you have a lot to look forward to, and then she's like, well, for a little bit until years have gone by and my patients are aging and I'm not, basically.
Mm-hmm. Does Damon know how she feels? There's nothing she can do, or is there?
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting, like, in the middle of all those people being injured, they have this conversation. Joe's like, does your boyfriend know how you feel?
Right.
It's like...
She's a pro.
Okay. We have the eternity for me to tell him how I feel. Let's go save these people.
All right, Enzo tells Sarah her whole deal. We don't have to get into that. Okay, but she's a little dark. She's a little edgy.
Right.
She finds death alluring.
And then Enzo just keeps dropping bombs on her about, well, you were ripped out of your mother's
Right.
whatever, not vagina, but what he said.
Womb.
Whatever he said.
I think he did say vagina. Actually.
That'd be so
Can we have ads on this one? Just kidding. You can't appreciate death until you've stood at its precipice.
Mm-hmm.
Flashback, Lily caring for Enzo. Enzo had a tough life. Abandoned at 4. See, even before then.
Yes, true. His whole life has really sucked.
Lily,
How are you gonna be abandoned at 4 years old? That's
in like a work camp, he said, or something.
Yeah, I imagined like a warehouse.
Lily was sent to a so she had a rough go of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then she found her true family. They're here with me. You could join us. Never be alone again. He's about to die, and she cuts her palm, puts blood in the cup. Oh, and says, "Drink this, Lorenzo."
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a reveal.
Yeah, his full name.
Yeah. Lily and Damon are looking for Stefan. They're at the school bar.
School bar.
And so Lily is gonna try and get him to turn to her. All right. But she felt for her old family is gone.
I hate this.
Can't make herself feel more for them. She walked away. Okay. Caroline flips a coin.
She's trying to figure out who she's gonna kill, Matt or Tyler.
And
Tyler.
Matt is like, everyone hates vampires because they mess with people for no reason. So mad. Ty makes a steak. Caroline used to think his forehead vein was sexy, but now it's blood leaving his brain.
Yeah.
All right. Ty accidentally stabs Matt.
Right, because Caroline like pushes Matt into Tyler when Tyler's coming at her with the steak.
Elena's on the phone with Damon. Catching up, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Lily's a no-go to help Stefan, but then she does, so who cares? All right.
Well, no, but this is important, though, because Damon has to basically tell Lily how she's going to help Stefan turn his humanity back on because she doesn't even love her own children anymore.
Right, so Damon, like, walks her through it, like, if she had, like, a bug in her ear and he was, like, feeding her the lines, but she was just good at remembering. Mm-hmm. But it's cut, like, he walks her through it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he gives her the ascendant or the cure. I don't know.
Yeah, it was not clear, but it
turns out to be the ascendant. Sarah thinks it was a good deal that Lily saved Enzo from death, but he also did die, whatever. Mm-hmm. And he says, "You don't know about the hunger."
Mm-hmm. Right, she's like, yeah, you were faster and smarter and you can live for eternity. Or maybe not smarter, but faster and stronger.
Slightly dumber. All right, flashback on the ship. His senses have intensified, and he's super hungry, but everyone's dead because all those vamps were already sucking necks. The doctor comes in. He's compelled, and Lily told him to come find Enzo and feed on me to complete your transition. And he slits his own throat, so it's not like he's going to get out of it anyway.
Yeah, he's compelled to do that.
And Enzo gets down to business.
Yeah.
After feeding on the charlatan, he searched for Lily but couldn't find her. He wanted to do to Sarah what Lily did to him, make her a monster to get back at Stefan.
Right. But then he chose not to.
All right, Matt is hurt, and they wonder if Matt dies, is Ty going to start peeing on fire hydrants again, a.k.a.
be a wolf.
Be a werewolf. Damon and Lily come in. They do that whole thing.
Right, yeah, we're talking about that. And Stefan does, like, really be like, mother, and he does believe what she's saying, even though Damon knows that she's incapable of loving him and that everything she's saying is what Damon said.
Yeah.
But it's, it's like Damon still sacrificing his relationship with Stefan to save Stefan, which he does all the time.
Right.
And then Stefan turns his humanity back on.
Yes.
Yay! Even though Stefan without his humanity is funny.
Yeah, he's cooler. Mm-hmm. Ty takes Matt to the hospital. Elena's like, OMG. But Matt doesn't want Elena's blood.
Which is so surprising because
He wants a doctor.
he's had her blood and other vampire blood many times, and also like he's let Elena feed on him, and
Yep.
but now he's at a point where he doesn't want to be like mixed up with them.
Yeah, and this is a terrible example. Bad analogy. But it's almost like as a kid, he like got a bunch of vaccines and like didn't get deadly sicknesses, and then like at a certain point in his adult life he decided that he didn't want to get a vaccine. It's similar to that. I mean, bad analogy, it's not 1-to-1, but it's similar to that. It's like he made a decision in his mind like way late in life to like not trust
Just
something
all of a sudden
that he like formerly did trust and do a lot and like really helped him.
Right.
And then he picked something, and then he picked out of thin air to like not do something.
because he wants to hate a group of people.
Yeah, it's bad analogy. I don't know how I came up with that, but that's what he did. So yeah, Stefan. Actually, a lot of stuff happened with the whole Lily and Stefan thing. She's a ripper. All the guilt that Stefan carried, it's my fault. All this stuff she's saying to get him to
Right, which a lot of that
get him
is
back.
true, but like she's not saying it from her heart, because
No,
Damon is telling her what Stefan needs to hear.
Yeah, he starts blinking big.
Yeah.
And he's back. He's crying. Stefan asks Damon where he found her, and Damon says, "You get a night to beat yourself up and shame Spiral, then go after Caroline." But he's like, "I don't need a night. I'm ready to rock."
Yeah.
And let's see, more Matt
Yeah, because
stuff.
we didn't say like when Lily came in that Caroline stabbed Stefan and escaped.
Right.
She was like, sorry, I gotta get thanks for the head start.
She pulls out the steak and does
Yeah.
all that. And then Matt like just dials in about like, I hate vampires. I can't say that I hate vampires and then use them to my advantage. So he's saying he hates vampires.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to be a hypocrite. But he's saying it to Elena.
And their ilk.
Right.
And he's probably like, my buddy Ty, like, he has hybrid blood, but like, he's not currently a werewolf.
I know,
so.
but like, how does he feel about Bonnie? Like, she's a witch, like,
Right. Enzo cuts a tiny cut on Sarah's hand. It's not the full palm.
I love this part. It's the tiniest. He just wants to make sure she doesn't have her vein in her system anymore, but also he doesn't want to hurt her.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Instead of doing the like dagger across the palm, he does like a little X-Acto knife on her like thumb.
And then he's like, nope, no vein.
He wants to compel her to disappear. She doesn't want that. She'll never seek out her real family. So he's like, have a nice life, Sarah Nelson.
Yeah, he's letting, because she's like, why don't you let me have what you never had, which is like just living in the truth and living like a normal life.
Yeah.
And so he lets her go. Big change for Enzo.
I still like, maybe I already said something like this, but I like how Stefan compelled her to not care about vampires at all.
Yeah.
It's like me in real life with wizards. I'm like, okay. Like everyone loves Harry Potter. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, someone compelled you not
Like,
to care
oh,
about
that's a
lizards.
great movie. I went on the ride and stuff. I was like, oh, all right, cool.
Yeah.
It's like Sarah Salvatore. It was like, he's a vampire.
Okay.
Go off, king,
She's like, that sounds pretty tight.
Yeah. Outside of, except for Gandalf. Outside of the Skull Scarf. Damon wraps it up with Elena. Okay, she wants to throw Joe a baby shower.
Yeah, she says it's kind of like out of the blue.
A jealousy shower. She wants a baby. But it's never going to happen for her. Because she's dead, I guess.
Right, and Damon knows he could give her the cure, and she could then have a baby and live a human life, but he doesn't want her to.
Damon is conflicted.
Yeah.
He tests the waters. What if things could be different? And Elena's like, they're not.
Yeah,
Things
she's
aren't
like,
different.
They aren't different. They can't be different. That's okay. I just needed to be sad for a minute.
Elena,
Which I appreciate that like sentiment of I just need to be sad for a minute and then I'll move on. I think that's actually kind of human to do.
sure. Yeah, it's we've all learned, is it a want a solution problem or a that person sucks solution?
Yeah.
Or like that situation
That
is
just-
lame.
Yeah, just be mad for a minute.
Yeah. Elena gets a text. Okay, Joe asks where the Ascendant is because her dad asked. This whole rigmarole of
Right, because she called her dad to tell her about Kai being in the 1903 prison world, and he's like,
Yes.
"Where's the Ascendant?"
And
And Damon's like,
Damon promised Bonnie he wouldn't give the Ascendant specifically to Lily or just out.
Because they don't want to free Kai. Because they don't want to free the other people, which we know are the heretics. Because then Kai could get out, and he promised Bonnie that she wouldn't let Kai get out.
All right, they need it back now, but Lily has it. In fact, she's looking at it in her part of this montage.
Right, but Damon had to give it to Lily so that Lily would go forward with pretending that she loved Stefan.
Right.
So, it's like a hierarchy for Damon. He's like, am I going to keep my promise to Bonnie? Or am I going to do whatever I need to do to save my brother? Right? Like, that's
Yes.
what he's kind of choosing.
And now we get the bomb drop. Mom, Lily, fell in with a group of witches, and they were siphoners like Kai, which I don't think we've heard that exactly. I mean, we know that he takes people's magic. Do we know he siphoned it?
Well, I knew it. I don't know if you did.
All right. They're called heretics. Lily turned these heretics back in the day. They are both witch
And vampire.
and vampire.
And Elena's like, that can't be.
She says that's not possible.
That's not possible.
And witches who have magic who siphon from another source, but they have a constant source because
Themselves.
they're vampires.
They can siphon themselves, which that's so crazy.
I've heard about a couple people who can siphon themselves. Okay,
You had to go there.
and they were going to, these self-siphoners, we say, they were going to kill the Gemini Coven, but were exiled before they could. But now Lily has the Ascendant, and I think she's even back there in 1903. And because the nails are popping off these coffins, and that was cool. And they're witches like Kai with the bloodlust of a vampire.
Yeah, it is unclear if she's
And there's 6 of them.
right.
You got to say that.
Yes, there's 6 of them, and then they all sit up like
Michael Myers.
yeah.
Because they're like, yeah, baby.
The other one.
They sit up like, yeah, baby.
I was just gonna say it's unclear if she's in 1903 or not because when she was in 1903, her people were desiccated sitting there, and these people are in coffins.
Right. Oh, yeah. They were sitting at that table. But did she bring them through in coffins? Kind of unclear.
So you'll have to wait and see.
Oh,
Next
that's going to be a
episode.
thing they explain.
Well, you'll just see what happens next.
I figured they'd be like walking around in tracksuits, like, "Hey, we're out here now. You know? Oh, this is crazy. We got Adidas."
They just skipped ahead.
Yeah, like,
That
we're
does
all on the internet.
She teaches them all how to use the internet.
Yeah.
All right, how many fangs?
2 fangs.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Couple of fangs popping out of the gums.
Yeah, I think I would do like 1.8 because sometimes I feel like sometimes when there's too much going on, it's like not going deep enough. But I am glad that Stefan's humanity is back on.
Yeah.
But I also I feel bad for Bonnie and
We got a Caroline song.
Caroline. Yeah.
We got I like them saying, and there's 6 of them.
And there's 6 of them. Yeah.
The ending was just like you could tell they were writing their asses off, which a little cheesy, but I get what they were going for,
Yeah.
and I liked it.
Right, and they say there's 6 of them, so they must be the only people because they're not like there's 6 of them in these coffins, plus there's 6 of them at this other table. Maybe she put them in the
Right.
coffins before she
Yeah,
left.
how did they get in the coffins, and where are they at in those coffins? But allegedly, we'll learn that.
Yeah. Also, we just know that there's 6 heretics.
Right. And so does that match up to something or something? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. But now it's like a new big and bad in the mix.
How many OGs were there? Were there 6 OGs?
Oh.
There was the mom.
I mean, yeah, it depends. Are you doing mom, dad?
No.
I don't know.
But maybe mom, dad, and the girl one and
I can't even think of
the main
the
one.
main guy's name.
Klaus.
Oh yeah, Klaus.
Rebecca.
Klaus in the house and Troubles of Brewing.
Klaus, Rebecca, Cole.
Yeah. There was like that one tall brother that was gone right away.
Yeah.
I
Timmy.
don't know, 5 or 6 of them. Yeah, probably.
Probably 6 of them. Probably 5 of them. Probably 5 or 6 of them.
All right. What are your Pete-dictions then? What's going to happen?
We're in season 6, episode 18, so there's 4 episodes left, so they're building the end
Yes.
of the season.
The final few eps.
Which probably these heretics, they're not going to dispatch the heretics super quick and then do something new.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, oof. I feel like he has a date circled on his calendar, possibly early January that he's thinking of.
Oh, yikes.
But no, I'm just kidding. All that stuff is jokes. But yeah, he's obviously become radicalized with hatred for a group of people.
Yeah.
And Ty,
sad.
I like that Ty keeps skirting around becoming a werewolf again. It seems
Yeah.
like he's just not gonna be a werewolf again.
It makes you nervous though, because you're like, wait, don't
Yeah.
kill. Oh no.
I know. It's funny because it's like, oh, I really hope he doesn't kill anybody. Like, everyone should not kill anybody. Like,
Right.
he gets so close to killing people.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, but he's going to turn into a werewolf. But if anyone killed someone, that's bad. Like,
Right.
in real life and in the show, like...
Even if you don't turn into a werewolf. Yeah.
Like, you just shouldn't kill people,
No,
period.
you shouldn't.
Like, that'd be bad and would ruin your life even if you don't become a werewolf.
100%.
But it's funny that you watch the show and you're like, oh, because he'll become a werewolf.
Also, it's tricky because then he'll be a werewolf and not a hybrid. It was better when he was a hybrid because then he could turn when he wanted to.
Oh,
But if
yeah.
he was a werewolf, he has no control over it. So it's
Right.
like the worst version of it.
Yeah, he'll have to go to the uncle basement.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I don't know, like, lock himself in his Jeep Cherokee or whatever that uncle did.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of psycho uncles.
Yeah, true that.
Elena, I mean, there's going to be a big decision if Elena's going to be a human or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Pete-diction, she will.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I think the proposal of her getting to live her life, and yes, she'll be married to Damon, and it'll be a little bit Benjamin Button style. Not really, because he aged in reverse, but Damon just kind of staying the same age and Elena getting old. I think that's probably best case scenario. Elena is our main character.
She's like our anchor, sort of.
I wouldn't say protagonist because a lot of stuff happens to her and she doesn't propel a lot of stuff, but she's kind of our surrogate, if you will. I think she will be a human, probably have a little baby, and a little Salvatore baby.
And do you think Caroline is going to turn her humanity off, or they're going to still be struggling with that?
You mean back on?
I mean on, yeah.
I think she's gonna turn it on at some point, yeah. And be like, my mom.
All right. Well,
I'm
there's
sad.
a lot. There's a lot up in the air right now, for sure.
For sure.
And Bonnie's gonna have to find out about Kai, and we didn't see a Lark this episode.
Yeah, where is Kai, by the way? Is he at the 1994 or is he in
03?
He's back in 03.
Right, but Lily just had the ascendant to there.
Right. So what's he doing? Is he like, you're moving all these coffins out, let me give you a hand?
Let me help you.
If that's actually what happened, I don't know.
All right. Any other plurgs besides watching The Ultimatum?
Look,
Queer Love?
Look,
Season 2?
you gotta watch The Ultimatum, Queer Love Season 2, or Marry Me or Move On Season 3.
True.
You gotta watch The Circle Season 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
But, look, that's stuff you're doing anyway. What you really gotta do, look for my books.
Read some books. Summertime's the best time to read.
If you're sitting by the pool, you need the happenstances.
For sure.
If you,
If you're at the beach.
if you're at the beach and you want your terror tips tingled, read Horror from the High Dive Volume 1 or 2.
Woo. Pug snore.
Pug Snore. If you like nonfiction memoirs,
What?
read All Roads Lead to Dogweiler. And if you like biting necks and turning people into Pez dispensers, you might be a bite neck.
All right.